It's all in the close.
I agree. I agree that it's a really critical close. And I saw another thing from somebody tweeting. Somebody, has a fairly high level JPM. Oh, we're pushing. We're pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second, then. Market vitals and levels, you need to triage the market. Matt, we actually had audio that time, somewhat. HFR from the floor, mistrade, Matt Davio, canceled. Market Vitals is the stream, and marketvitals.io is our community. And we are being monitored in China. Thank you. Thank you. Zoom via G. Matt, it's a Friday. Everybody's working for the weekend. A lot of moving parts. Let's talk NFL football to begin with. And Thursday night football, like if this becomes the norm,
every week has been like this. Every week has been
the NFL.
Yeah,
you can cancel the NFL.
I mean, it's like watching soccer.
Well, Matt, here's another. I just thought of this little trading segue. Justin Fields, an incredible athlete. The guy runs a 4.4. He's 6 fucking whatever, giant. Although he got beat up last night considerably. He was writhing in pain on the ground several times. And there's a lot of discussion afterwards by the NFL analysts, the actual guys that played the game, that are like, why are you putting this guy in a pocket passing situation? He's not a drop back passer. He's not a pocket passer. And nothing was more clear and evident than that. 3rd and 4 on the Commanders. In fact, I think we should rename the Commanders. Like, what was the best Indian chief in the Northeast? That was a commander, right? For sure. He commanded his armies, and their mascot should be that. The Indian commander from the Northeast. Anyway, 3rd and 4. They got the crossing route. There is nobody on the crossing route. Not a corner trailing, not the linebacker picking them up, wide open, and he completely misses it. It's 9 yards in front of him. He doesn't see the wide open guy, and he throws an incompletion downfield. It's like, Aaron Rodgers in high school makes that play 10 out of 10 times. Any great pocket passer makes that play 10 out of 10 times. I mean, you cannot be at this level and miss that play. So I agree. Get him outside, make him run more, and sacrifice the longevity of his career for the success that he might have in the next 4 or 5 years. Because like RG3, you are not running around in the NFL as a quarterback and lasting 20 years. No chance.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, it's brutal to watch because their defense played great. They gave up 12 points.
Except for how about the block though that Wentz put on Roquan Smith on that one play?
By the way, again, amazing.
That was the block. That was the block that was the play of the game. That was the most exciting play of that freaking piece of shit game.
I agree. And please, never again with the orange helmets and the orange unis. They're terrible. They're just brutal.
Right out of Oregon Duckland.
It's a clown.
They have the yellow construction and they have the orange construction option. Which one do you want?
Matt, let me share because we're going to talk prices right away here. But first, before we do, I got a little something I want to share, and I'm going to let the audio speak because we don't have audio, right? So, we haven't figured that out yet. I need a more seasoned person. Exactly, but Wall Street Silver sharing, and let's go to the since it's got subtitles, we can just do this. Yeah, temporary. A good sign, increasing prices. It's going to go up a little. Come back down.
Well, how about yesterday?
It's going to settle down. It's transitory. The data shows I'm incompetent.
This was a year and change ago.
Nobody's highly unlikely. My pants aren't full of shit. I don't know. We could go on. It goes on for a minute 43, but we don't need to do that.
What was interesting is the latest yesterday was he said that if you vote for Republicans, it'll only get worse. Okay, buddy. All righty.
Let's look at the crazy. Bring up the spoos, because we've been saying this for a while. The market is fairly difficult to trade, and nobody knows what's going on or where it's going or how this is going to shake out. And anybody that tells you so is an idiot.
I'm going to bring up. I'm just going to bring up a couple. The NASDAQ and the SPOOs together, and what you can see here, Bob, is the NASDAQ came right down to the 61.8 from yesterday's low, which was the year low, to the high here pre-market. And the 61.8 we banged off of right here, which is also the lower part of value for the 2-day chart. So the close is important. If we get under 10 777s here, bullish bets, I think, should be off for the weekend. And it's kind of the same thing on the SPOOs. If you get under 38.90, all bets are off for the weekend. So on the bullish side.
What? I agree with you 100%. And I agree with you from a different perspective. So let me share the weekly chart from the standard deviation modeling, and let me show you that, because we call this synergy in trading, Matt, when multiple trading methodologies are telling you the same story. For me right now, this candle on the weekly in the SPOOs, if they close them here, making that wick low and then closing them basically where they open, that's actually a bottoming candle. Still negative slope on the standard deviation lines, but this candle is important. So I agree with you. If they can put in, and if they close these things back down here, like you said, 38.50 to 80, that's a completely different setup from anybody that's a candlestick maker and a candle trader and the standard deviation modeling. Then if we can close this candle green or a little bit higher, or even up at the opening for the week, and let's just remember that the opening from the week was 36.38. So I don't know, between here and 36.38 or green above there, that candle is completely different on the weekly than closing these things below your level at 35.90. It's the nuance, Matt. It's the nuance that's important.
And the other thing to go along with that is the bonds. And even though we had a shitty CPI, the bonds also are not reflecting that there's still enough out of the market, right? They barely rallied. And I'm looking at the UB here, the ultras on the U.S. Treasury futures, and these things rallied up to about 134.20 yesterday, but they're all the way back down, pushing towards the low that we just put in yesterday into the CPI. If that goes on a close, you got to be careful. Like, that's, again, going to be another significant warning sign. Again, the daily, the long-term chart, nothing's changed here. I mean, this is a bloody chart. People are calling for, I think the lows are in interest rates. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but to me, it doesn't look like it yet. I don't know how anybody can call a low when it's just making you lows. So it's wishful thinking for sure. But
especially as the far that has moved, it's going to take some sideways action.
Right. It's going to take some whipping around, just kind of like we did today, just in the equities. And again, that hasn't. And if you look at the ZB, we've been calling for, I think it's right around 110 ultimately on the weekly. And let's just start with the weekly long-term picture here, just so you can see it. But again, that starts to get interesting down here, again, as you pan out in this long-term chart, and this one goes back further than the UB. This is the level down in here. It's somewhere around, 112, 113, somewhere in there. So we're sitting at 123. And again, the recent low there, I think, is 123.03, Bob. So that's pushing a little bit lower, maybe about 122 and change. So again, they're both kind of looking the same. I wouldn't say these are any different looking charts in the short term. They both have a very compacted, center of gravity over the last 2 weeks. And that's really what we've been battling. And until that resolves itself up or down, it's hard for me to say a temporary bottom is in, because I don't even see that yet. So until a temporary bottom is, then you can't call a permanent bottom. So there's no hurry to be the first to say it here, because it's, I mean, basically, again, it's kind of got a widening megaphone, right? Which means both ends are kind of getting pushed, the short end and the long end. I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know.
All right, Matt.
And if let's just bring up the rates again today, just to see if they've changed much from, yesterday's fireworks. And again, the 2 years back at 450 and the 10 years at 402. So they're both up again today. Not making, these aren't new highs or anything like that, but it's just grinding at the top here on the 2 year rates. And again, this has been very bullish for quite some time. And this just continues to be nothing but one-way train. And
when you think about the rates too, Matt, is there any reason not to think that we're never going back to the rates that we saw the last 5 years, that was the anomaly, and that the value of money, there has to be a value of money for the system to work.
Right.
And they decided that you didn't need a value of money and we could have zero interest rates, and the time value of money. I think the time value, it has to be something.
And by the way, the dollar isn't making new highs, which would suggest lower equity prices. The Canadian loonie did push down lower yesterday and is sitting pretty much near, multi-year lows again. So most of the other currencies are pushing down, but you're not really seeing great recovery when it comes to the dollar, and those, the dollar's not like breaking out above that 115 level. So again, it's a tricky spot when you watch all these little indicators and nuances. It's, as a trader, you got to kind of put together a thesis, and I don't have enough one way or the other to be very firmly bullish or bearish, and so therefore you must respect the neutrality, I guess, of where we are. That's kind of what I see. I mean, here's the dollar here, and again, we got up to
bring that up.
We got up to like 113.86 yesterday, and trading right around 113 and teens here today. So again, not particularly providing too much new information here either. It's hard to bet one way or the other just on the dollar alone. And again, we didn't quite get to 115. I think we got to like 114.70s or so. So that was the high on that. Again, a lot of, we're at a juncture. Either we're going to go lower or we're going to bounce. But I don't know which way yet. I don't know which way. And on a Friday, it's hard to make some major bets when you add in the geopolitical side of things. Like, it's really hard. Like, I don't want to bet that everything's rosy in the world just because technically the market's there. And you have to look at the markets this way also. Just because technically things may look oversold, et cetera, well, there's a reason why. There's things happening in the world right now that are really, we're stepping on pins and needles, and there's cracked window everywhere that we're walking on, and hot coals. That's the way the market's behaving also.
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, this is shared by Jason J. Smart. That we'll leave that to somebody else's determination, by the way. Elon Musk Starlink says it can no longer afford to give Ukraine free service and asked the Pentagon to pay for it. I'm not sure why, maybe a NGO can't pay for this as they started the whole thing.
Right.
Put it on
Soros's bill.
Yeah, maybe Soros should have to pay for this. Free internet for the NGO world. Starlink had been
because Zelensky needs to watch more comedy because he's not very funny.
This comes days after Ukrainian ambassador, I can't pronounce that name, will not try, told Musk to fuck off. I can actually pronounce that. Elon, not losing his sense of humor, says we're just following his recommendation. The geopolitics of this are growing by the minute, it seems, as the recently leaked documents from the White House saying there's no way Ukraine can win this, yet nobody, like we have been calling for weeks. How about you strike a deal? I mean, every single
whatever happened to mediation and middle ground? I mean, that's the way the world should work. We don't need conflict. Again, the ridiculousness of this is just beyond meat.
And again, so price to book value from price to book ratio, and this is Vonovia, a German real estate conglomerate holder. Is that correct, Matt?
Yes.
Anyway, we talked about this before we came in here, but it's looking very dire. as the price to book, I believe means what you could actually get versus what you have it on your books at.
Correct.
So a lot of their portfolio is upside down in Germany.
Yes, pennies on the dollar.
Not quite what we're at yet because valuations are still ridiculous here in many places.
They are. Yep.
But not a great sign.
Here's the thing, that I keep warning people, like, this is not a mortgage, backed, real estate problem that we had. This was an interest rate real estate problem, whereas real estate, was levered thanks to the Fed. It wasn't really, if you're going to give them low rates, they'll take them and they'll push shit up and they'll chase shit. And that's what happened. So they fueled the speculation, little different than the last time. Kind of the same, but, in other words, you had ARMs last time. This time it wasn't. You actually had conventional products that were down there near negative. So what I brought up was just the REIT, Dow Jones equity, all real estate. So commercial, residential, everything combined in this. We haven't looked at it in a while. It peaked at the end of 22 here at 2987. Let's call it 3,000. So it's off now 33%, trading down to 22,000. And it's below the pre-COVID high, which was 2371. And the COVID low is down here, 1329. So, just drawing a simple fib analysis, this is an index, so it doesn't trade. This one particularly doesn't trade, or at least there may be derivatives. I'm not that familiar. But here's what's interesting, and I just did this for you just to see this. The low to the high, and we're sitting right on the golden ratio here at 1972. So basically tagged it. The low got pretty darn close to that. I would have to pin in here just to see exactly what that low was. Let's see what it was. 19, looks like this was yesterday morning on the CPI. 1985, Bob, was the number there.
Not a great year, 72 and 85, both of them.
But again, just looking at the long-term weekly chart, this has been nothing but it's been great to be in real estate since the debacle in 2008 bottomed, right? The Fed, again, has fueled this chaos. And, Bernanke won the Peace Prize for creating this mess. Happy days.
Well, I mean, wait a second. To be fair, he reacted to a situation, kick saved it. But I think he's been fairly clear on the record that the Fed shouldn't have been so accommodative. Markets should have been.
Well, now he's going to be the.
Well, I'm just saying that's what I've read.
Give me a break.
Give me a.
You know what I'm saying.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break.
But it's interesting. I mean, and the low from 2008. What was that? Geez, 281. I mean, that's a 10x. That's a 10x in real estate in those 14 years, Bob. That's insane.
Hey, Matt, you just shared that Marky Mark bought his house in LA for $8 million and just sold it for $90 million.
Yeah,
and moved to Nevada. Was that you, or was that? I think that was.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That was Points and Figures. My friend Jeff Carter shared.
Yeah.
So Marky Mark, an incredible real estate investor, right? $9 million he paid for his estate in Beverly Hills.
Brilliant.
He sold it for $90 million. Bought a estate outside of Vegas and is going to start Hollywood 2.0, supposedly. Congratulations, Marky Mark, because that is freaking awesome.
That's striping it. Started with New Kids on the Block, then Calvin Klein, and then woo. I think we just need to put you in some tidy whities.
Matt, let me share this for a second. There he is, Jeff Carter, Points and Figures. Let's go to this tweet though first, because hold on, look at that. Fall is for bratwurst, and I just want to give you a little Manja TV tip. All right, the bratwurst got to be great. Obviously, right? You got to have a great purveyor. And I'm telling you right now, Johnsonville, great company, first of all, right? Really takes care of their employees. And they make a fantastic bratwurst. That's all there is to it, from Sheboygan. All right. But if you don't have great mustard and great sauerkraut, you're just doing it wrong. That's all there is to it. That's what I was saying here. I just want to throw that out there for sure. Great mustard, great sauerkraut has to be accompanied.
What about a great, because I'm not big on the sauerkraut, but I like coleslaw. What about a great coleslaw?
Absolutely. Man, I wanted to share this. I tried to share, I took a little snippet of my rant, lighthearted rant about how Howard Stern, true, has been hiding in his house for 2 years because he's so COVID paranoid, was very outspoken at bashing anybody that wouldn't take the experimental jab because we are endangering everybody on the planet. And it turns out, obviously, that he was inviting vaccinated people into his house, really doing the same thing, exposing his delicate immune system.
Wrongly. Yeah.
And he used to be the man. In fact, I love the movie about him, where the radio station, he was getting in trouble because he was using questionable language, right?
Yeah.
And they were telling him you can't use the word pussy on show. And so he did a little game show and fill in the blank, and it was blank Willow. Well, can I say Pussy Willow? And that was brilliant. It was a brilliant pushback on the man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt, I say all of this because I was busting his balls and I wanted to promote the tweet, and Twitter will not let me. They won't take my money because they say we couldn't create your promotion with this tweet as it doesn't meet our advertising guidelines. So I guess if you want to bust Howard Stern's balls, that's not part of an advertising model that Twitter is willing to engage in. Of course, you got to review all the promotions on Twitter, and the only thing I think that might be neat is that somebody actually at Twitter looked at the video and said, wait a second, we can't let Howard get his balls busted like this. I mean, I think that's brilliant in and of itself.
Well, again, when Sirius pays them, $1 billion, they have the legacy media Sirius to protect and anything associated with the CBS Viacom.
Blank Willow, Howard Stern. Correct answer. Thank you. Go to Twitter anyway. Bring up the stock because they're still whether Elon's going to take it over or not. There's still court. I know
isn't that supposed to be done here? Aren't they supposed to be in trial and done by the end of the?
Well, I think there's a performance deadline on actually transferring money coming.
Oh, he's got to put up more cash here.
He's got to actually do the deal.
Well, you can see it bumped up here. It's trading 50.68 as we speak. It's been bumping up really since July. So again, back to kind of where the deal was announced.
So that tells me a little bit from the price action. I would be leaning more towards that he actually does take it.
Yeah, no, the deal looks like it's going to get done. But all we did
is if he's not going to,
what have we done? We've wasted 6 months of kicking the can just to get back to what we were going to do.
All right, Elon, listen, when you finally make the deposit from your Venmo account to Twitter's Venmo account, when that finally happens, come on, Mark.
No, he's going to send PayPal, and then PayPal's not going to like the deal, so they're going to fine him $2,500.
PayPal's going to fine him $2,500 because they don't like what he might do with the broadcast, with the platform. First thing he's going to do is deplatform himself.
Right.
Perfect. All right, man. Let's talk undie. Let's talk undie, not undies, not undies, not depends. Which, by the way, I've said forever should be called for sure's. Joe wears them, and there's no way he's tugging those on every day because he might shit his pants. He's for sure going to shit his pants. They should be called for sure's, not depends. That's all I'm saying. Let's get to this though. Hold on, I gotta get rid of my my Twitter giffer. Hold on, stick around. Wrong one. All right, how many of these are still undie, Matt?
Kansas is gone. Everybody else pretty good. I think the rest were there. So. Penn State, Michigan play this weekend. I got 11 games for you this week, Bob. 11 college games.
Whoa. Yep.
11. And then there's 2 more on the bottom of your shoulder. Your left shoulder is blocking the TCU.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to figure that out too. Lee, get into the production booth and straighten some shit out here.
OSU is playing. So Oklahoma State is playing TCU. So those 2, and Michigan plays Penn State. So those 2 will work themselves away. Coastal Carolina already lost, so they should be gone. GMU, I think, lost too, so they're gone. So those 2 little babies on the left, those are already gone. The rest are all still there. But there's 3 of these teams, 3 games within this that are matchups directly. Tennessee is hosting the Crimson Tide, and you tell me when you want these picks because I have 11 games that I like this weekend, and all of them kind of involve some of these matchups. So could be
You
exciting.
want to bring up a NCAA scoreboard or future games so we can actually look at them. We can look at the line, look at the over under, and put ourselves together with a game plan. We're going to pocket pass today.
Well, I'm going to just go through. I'm going to go through them. I don't have the board. I'm not going to give you the board numbers and do all that. But
that's fine. Chairman of the
James
board,
Madison is undefeated, and they're playing Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern beat Nebraska, so that's a trap game. I have no idea who to pick in that. I wouldn't touch it because I don't know anything about them. However, let me just go through here. I like Mississippi State at Kentucky, giving 5 points. Mississippi State at Kentucky, giving 5 points.
And Kentucky was supposed to be a football school.
Yeah, again, and they're probably going to chop me because of this. This is how it happens in the SEC. But I'll take Mississippi State laying less than a touchdown. I like Michigan giving 7, and I don't like to bet them much, but I like them giving 7 at home versus Penn State early game. Penn State's had 2 weeks to think about it. Nothing but Michigan in their head. We're going to be, I think we're going to come out firing. We'll see. Minnesota needs to freaking wake up, but their running back hasn't been involved the last couple of weeks. Hopefully he's back. I don't even know, but they're playing at Chief Illini, and I like the Gophers giving less than a touchdown, 6.5 at Illini. Kansas getting 9 points at Oklahoma. Back in the old days, I would have said take Oklahoma, but Oklahoma sucks. And they've gotten smashed the last 3 games. So it's possible they come back, but I'll take Kansas in the 9 points plus 9 all day. I'll take that. So -5 for Mississippi State. And then you have UT and Bama. Man, Tennessee is my second favorite college team. Spent some time living in Knox Vegas in the 90s. And that's what they call it. And they were good back then. That's when Peyton was around. It was a fun time. And my wife was taking classes at UT, so we were Vols.
That must have been a nice time, and they packed the stadium.
Oh, it's a great stadium with the checkerboard, the checkerboard crowd, right. Checkerboard field, the whole thing. They're going to be They're going to be full checkerboard in Knox Vegas this weekend. Take the Vols getting a touchdown at home. Alabama's not that good. They're playing their second string quarterback. I don't know. Bryce Young might be back. We'll see. Still, it doesn't matter to me. Take the Vols. What the heck? NC State against the other undefeated Syracuse. And we're not talking basketball. We're not talking Jim Brown 50s football in Syracuse. We're talking 2022 Syracuse Carrier Dome, which is hosting the game. I'll take the Wildcats of North Carolina State. Is that what they are? I think they're the Wildcats. I'll take NC State Wolfpack. NC State Wolfpack.
Yes.
+4. And then you got Oklahoma State at TCU. I've been going with TCU this whole time, but Van Gundy's hair is going to win for the Oklahoma State Cowboys this weekend. Plus, they're getting 4. They're getting 4 at TCU. Roll Cowboys, Oklahoma State. Florida versus LSU, again, at the Swamp. 2.5. Florida is giving. Give the points. LSU looks dead after last weekend's performance. Just looks dead. So take the Gators -2.5. Clemson. This line started at 7, which just shows me the Florida State fan base is still the degenerate gambling base they always have been. You laugh, but Notre Dame and Florida State have some of the most degenerate gambling lines. To see this line move from -7 on the open to -3.5, I'll take Clemson all day against the Florida State Seminoles down there in Jacksonville. I think the game is in Florida. And then the big battle in the triangle, UNC versus Duke. I'll take UNC over Duke. This is not basketball. I'll take UNC over Duke. But again, you never know with Mac Brown who's going to show up. But I'll take UNC -7 right now over Duke. And then the final game is no respect given to Fight On Trojans. No respect given to them. Utah hosting the Trojans. USC is getting 3.5, even though Utah's lost twice. USC is getting 3.5. I'll take those points and an outright money line winner out of USC. It's up to you, Bob, to figure out those 5 best games and put them in.
All right, yeah. We talk coming in. I'm going to pick a 5 of these for a parlay because we want to make the bookie more money because nobody ever wins a parlay. That's the kind of shit we supply here, though.
That's right.
Matt, with your expert short-winded tutelage here, I actually do love Clemson, and I love for that reason that the line moved just because they're degenerate gamblers. I actually track with that. I like USC. How could they let UCLA beat Utah and then lose to them? I mean, that's going to be terrible for them. Great motivation,
especially with both of those LA teams still undefeated and still nobody going to their games, coming up with an undefeated, future Big Ten matchup, USC, UCLA.
So that's 1, 2. I like the Oklahoma State storyline there.
Well, the storyline is Jeff Van Gundy's hair. Yes, because
I like your analysis of Kansas, right? We got a direct connection to the USC thing as the Oklahoma lost their coach. And the fifth pick is really evading me here. The fifth pick is really evading me. I hate betting against Alabama. I don't care.
Yep, I understand that.
It's hard to. I can't. I think I'm going to have to go with.
Let me help you.
Mississippi State for my fifth one. I'm going Mississippi State for the number 5 because they had their time in the Sunshine, Kentucky.
So we gave you 11 games plus a 5-team parlay. Mississippi State -5.5, Kansas +9, Okie State +4, Clemson -3.5, and USC +3.5. Those are your 5.
Bingo.
Ding, ding.
Oh, it's a fucking wonderful time of the year. I can smell the bratwurst on the grill, Matt. I can hear the band playing in the distance.
There was a band playing in the distance last night from about 8 to 11, about a block away.
And, somebody had a party? House party?
Yeah.
Nice. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, we're getting to that time of year. Obviously, it hasn't been that time of year yet here, although the colors have changed here, but we've not had any. We've had a beautiful Indian summer like fall. Just gorgeous here in Bend. But there will be cold snap in the air soon, Matt. And I just want to let everybody know next week, I'm going to give you the best cold weather hot drink you have ever thought about or had in your life. Okay. By far the best. I'm going to put it all together this weekend and share it with you for next week because we're getting into it now where you need that hot beverage either at a cold tailgate and then as we move into winter, all those outdoor activities that we still enjoy because we're animals and that's what we do. You need it though. You need it.
Hey, I sent you a song yesterday, a great cover of one of our favorite bands collectively, which is
the Talking Heads. Yes.
Right?
Man, there was 2. Yeah, go ahead.
So I sent you that song, and I got to say that still one of my favorite bands of the year is a band called Sure Sure, and that's who did the cover on this. These guys are just coming up with. I've been listening to them hard the last 2 months, and I just love their sound. So the band is called Sure Sure.
Spell that for us.
Is that Sure? S-U-R-E, S-U-R-E. Sure, Sure.
Okay, maybe there was some sort of funky spelling.
Yeah. No, I got it. And they write some good melodic music. They do some amazing. Anybody that can cover, Talking Heads the way they did and do it well like they did.
I agree.
Not
an easy song to play, and
not an easy song
to keep the rhythm of. And we're talking about what's the name of the song? Oh my God! Come on, Matt, help me out. I'm dying over here.
What are we talking?
What the name of the Talking Heads song that they covered? It was
that I sent you yesterday.
Yes, something.
You can't put me on the spot like that.
This is fucking brutal. Because it's got 2 names, right? It's got 2. Why can't I go to my history on history? There it is. Home. It's where I want to be. Pick me up and turn me around.
Where I want to be.
Yeah, they do a great job of
Me
that
up
too.
and let me know.
I feel numb, Matt. I feel numb. The market now, Spoo's trying to head back towards that 30. Again, there's going to be a battle royale.
It's gonna be a
here.
battle right today. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, to the close. And again, I am saying long term, like I'm saying this, if we close this thing below 35.90, there's no way this week's low holds next
Right.
week.
Right.
If we close them at 36.30, 40, I'm way more confident than that this week's low is a temporary bottom, and we talked about it yesterday. We can rip to, 39.50, 4,000, and the stuff on the longer term charts is still a sale. I saw a tweet from somebody saying that they have a friend that's on a JP Morgan trading desk, and he said no one, not a single person knows what's going on.
Right.
And you think about these trading desks. Like,
yeah, they got context, deep context, and that's what I'm hearing. Even my trading context, which I've slimmed out over the years since I stopped running money for others. Also, there's a lot of confusion out there. And that's where I just go, okay, pause. I have no problem. I mean, we had the short this morning, which worked out great. And again, we're not fully back, but we're right at that juncture, that 61.8. And even as we speak, let me bring it in, as we kind of come to the close here this week. And again, I think this close is going to be important. Will we close below this or will we close above it? It's just another number. It's not the number. It's just it's another number. But if we get below this 1077, there's no reason we couldn't go back and test the lows from yesterday. Even today, we got 2 hours left, almost 3. So be careful out there. And the same thing, in the spoos, you get under 35.91. Why wouldn't we go back to 3,500? Everybody that bought yesterday is now trapped. I mean, if you get below there, that's what happens, because nobody bought below here. And then they just started taking, all this was a short squeeze. You could just tell. Again, these 6% moves, 5.5, whatever it was yesterday. It was just a total short squeeze. And they tried again this morning pre-market, but that didn't last. Pissed on itself. They were pissing on your back and telling you it was raining.
I got one more for you here while you got it up. And it's ticker Dole, Matt, DOLE, the largest grower of bananas in the world. And as people get squeezed, I kind of like the Dole story here. Like, all you can afford is a banana. They sell them everywhere. You can get one at a gas station.
Again, Bob, I don't know anything about this stock.
I know you don't know any, but look at the long-term chart.
And I assure you, the family that owns this, they have some public, but most of it's still owned by a family. I say warning.
Do they pay a dividend, Matt?
They do 4%. They do.
Not. It's a 2-year rate right now. They're paying.
Yeah,
they're paying the 2-year.
I'd rather have the 2-year personally, because I can get 4.5. So.
Okay.
There's a lot less risk than
I don't know, the bananas they can go.
Let's just say, in one of these, less lucid moments that Putin has, he decides to take out the Hawaiian Islands. It's over.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. Thank you for setting me up again.
Well, I like to look at the risk.
I'm just thinking that
I'll take the 2-year. I'll take the chance that the U.S. lasts a little longer than the Hawaiian Islands. 49 versus 50. Hawaiian Islands, the only thing they have is, naval bases and beaches and pineapples. So just be careful with the dole.
Big. All right. 771 last dole.
777. It's actually 777s right now.
777s. And fractal out. Let's fractal out.
You got the whole thing again.
That's everything.
That's everything. So it just went public.
Right. So
it's a repackaged piece of shit. Don't touch it. It's going to zero again.
Matt,
whatever. This is probably like their canning operation in Thailand.
That's it. That's it. That's another thing. You don't actually know what part of dole this dole is. Because this could be Bob Dole for all we know.
Because the family is collecting the cash still, and they got slaves running the plantations, and they're good to go. So,
Matt, again, we just lost the opportunity to advertise with Dole. Thank you.
Well, I mean, anybody that
no
works,
longer the ability.
anybody that works for any company as a slave. Let me just justify what I was saying. Anybody.
This is true.
So
all right, what else do we
it
got?
has
Anything
nothing
else?
to do with has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with the business.
Hey, you know, actually, I got to tell you, for the first time in a while, I really agreed with a thread from Ben Hunt and Epsilon Theory, although he still has not, you know, opened up about whether
he's still hanging out with Howard and the COVID freaks, though.
Yeah. He still hasn't come forth with any remorse to his dogged
hatred
defending of the narrative in that regard. He did have an excellent thread though about labor, wages, and productivity, and how it's you would have thought that as labor got more productive, they should have earned more.
Mm-hmm.
And the profit from increased productivity from labor didn't go to labor. It was a really nice thread on wages and productivity, and how we have benefited for the past 3 decades with incredible increases in productivity, yet that productivity hasn't been rewarded back to the labor that supplies it. The businesses have used it for capital, for investment, for enriching the upper the upper side of management, and it has not gone to labor. I don't know. Ben, listen, just say it about the whole thing. That's what it is now, Matt. It's just the whole thing that you cannot say. You couldn't say it before, and now they can't say it, and I don't know why. But anyway,
yeah.
That's what we got. Please visit us at marketvital's.io. Please share, retweet, plagiarize far and wide.
Hey, Bob, do you have any thoughts on the NFL exciting weekend coming up now that the Thursday debacle is the weekly debacle is over?
Matt, I do not. And listen to me. I have 12 minutes to make it to acupuncture. I'm going to go get needled up.
All right.
And,
I got one game for the junkies out there, and because I hate the NFL betting on it, but I'll give you the Rams -10. That's the only one I like.
Is it the only 10-point game?
The only 10-point game. There you go.
I love that. I love the Rams -10. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Bob.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend all.